Hello, in this video, I will be explaining how we can use RaceEntry's live results software to connect to the race director in order to upload live race results to RaceEntry and also to send live finisher texts to participants. So once you have the software downloaded, you'll see a RaceEntry sign in here. Just sign in like you would on the website. And we can click sign in, and any events that you own or have been given access to that are upcoming will appear here. So once you have identified the race that you want to edit, you can select it and then click Manage Results, or we can just double click it here for convenience. And with the race director, we're going to select Local Scoring Software, and then Continue. And then before we dive into this, we're going to look at a couple things first. The first one is this Help button. You'll see it on the corner of just about every page in this application. So open it up, and you're going to see this very wonderful, very useful text that will help you get acquainted with this program and get your timing software set up to work with it properly. So before you go ahead and try to set up your own race for yourself, I suggest reading through these first 4 sections. If you're not using any of these other timing softwares, you probably don't need to read those. But for these, the first 3 are very general for all timing software, and then the race director will help guide you through the specific configuration of the race director. But I'll also be walking through that here in this video. Alright, and then we're going to come over to race director, and we're going to set up our divisions and our events. So to do that, once again, we go into Tailor Divisions, and we see this window. I have already set up in this demo event 2 divisions. We have a 5K and a 1 mile. And these are each tied to their own event because we want them scored and displayed separately on RaceEntry's website. So the events should map 1-to-1 with RaceEntry's categories. So we have the 5K division tied to the 5K event and the 1 mile division tied to the 1 mile event. In order to set up the events, we should first come over here to the setup events. We click OK, and then we can add, delete, and rename them as needed. And then on our divisions, we can edit them and select the event from that list there. So once that is all set up properly, we're going to come back over to setup events, and you're going to see a combine results across all divisions. We're not going to check that. That will actually combine all of the CSV files into one, and that's not what we want to do. We want a separate CSV file for each event. So that's what we're going to leave it as. And then we're going to select a GRU save folder. And first is going to have us select what additional columns we want to include. This window is a little bit confusing in my opinion because there are some fields that are included by default, and if you add them, it will actually duplicate them in the spreadsheet, which is probably not what we want. So generic participant information fields, bib number, first name, last name, gender, age, gun time, chip time, division, those are all included in the GRU file by default. So we don't need to select those. But if we want any additional information like pace or chip number or adjusted finish place or things like that, then we should add them manually. Once this is all set up properly, we're going to click OK, and then it'll have us select the folder. The important thing to remember with the folder is this should be a folder dedicated to race director's automatically exported GRUs. So we shouldn't have anything else saved in this folder, so we should probably make a new folder for this. I've already set up a folder called outputs, and that will work just fine for this demo. We click OK, and then we can close out of these 2 windows. We're done there. So now we need to actually start importing chip results. So what we're going to do is go to enter results, chip results, and then you make sure all of your settings here are set up correctly. Make sure your Also, in your options, you've set up the proper chip system. I'm just using a text file from the RFID timing system. So what I'm going to do is go and select import, and I'm going to browse to the folder where that text file is found. Click OK, and that's the file I want, reads.txt, and click OK. All right. And then we're going to want to make sure that auto after import is selected. This does is it will generate the GRUs automatically after each import, which is exactly what we want because we don't want to have to come in here and click export every time we want results uploaded to RaceEntry. So auto after import, and then we're going to set up auto import. Perfect. I'm actually going to pause that for a second while we set up RaceEntry's live results. So in our folder location, we're going to navigate to that same folder where we configure the GRU outputs. So we're not the input with the chip reads. We're going to go to the outputs where the GRUs are. And once we have that folder selected, we're going to select configure results. And here you're going to see the categories. This list of categories comes straight from RaceEntry, so you should see every registration category on here, and these should again map one-to-one with the race director's events, so they can be scored properly. So we're going to select 5K, and we're going to see that there are no chip files because the race director has not created any. So I'm going to go ahead and get some chip reads in there so that it can start doing everything right. Looks like Jim Carrey finished his race. He was the first one. Good on him. So then if we go to configure results, there we go. So once you get some chip reads in there, you're going to see that there's a live GRU01.txt and a live GRU02.txt that it created. If we look over in here, in tailored divisions, setup events, these are given a number. These numbers should correspond to those files. So we're going to look at number 1 corresponds to the 5K. So in our live results for the 5K, we're going to select live GRU01. And then we're going to put in a timer email. This will be used to display on the RaceEntry website for any participants to contact if there are discrepancies with the time. And then for the 1 mile, we're going to go in and select live GRU02. Timer email again should be there. And that is for simple race, that will be sufficient. But sometimes we need additional configuration. We have split times that we need, or any other complicated non-standard fields that we want to add. So what RaceEntry does is it allows us to set a display name for that field so that we can call it whatever we want. So for example, if we wanted to put the age grade on there, then we could put age grade time or whatever we wanted. We can give it a nice display friendly name here if the header is a little bit confusing. So any of these will also be uploaded along with the results. And then you'll also notice this split time checkbox. What the split time checkbox does is it tells the RaceEntry website to watch this for any changes. So if we were inputting a split time here, like say the end of the swim for a triathlon, then we could call this swim, and we'd check the split time, and we'd select the header, the appropriate header from the file. And then when this field gets updated for a participant, it will send them a text directly to them, if they have set that up when they registered. So again, the split time box should only be used if we want to enable sending live texts when that column is updated. For a column like age grade time, I don't think the participant wants to be notified when that changes, so we're going to leave that unchecked. Perfect. So we're going to save the configurations. Oh, you'll also notice there are a couple other columns here. These have dedicated names. You can't give them a custom display name, but they're also optional. All right, then we're going to click Save Configurations, and it'll tell us the configurations were successfully uploaded. All right, and then before we start uploading results, we want to double check that we see that all of our categories have linked CSV files. Again, CSV and GRU files are the same thing. GRU is just a technical name for it in the race timing industry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click Start Uploading. And what that does is it will start looking at the two GRU files that we've selected, and we'll watch them for any changes. So we're going to see, and if we watch the log, we're going to get insights into what the program is doing. So in the 5K, it sees that there were one result from the earlier participant that we had finish, and then it tells us there are no results from the live GRU 2 for the 1 mile. So that all looks great. And then let's go ahead and resume our chip imports. Looks like a couple more people finished. And we're going to probably start seeing some more reads come in here in a few seconds. All right, that's all looking good. And let's see now that when new results are coming in on the race director, we're going to see that live results is noticing those changes and uploading them. So then there's another scenario that may happen at some point. Say we realized that all of these times were incorrect and we needed to remove them from the database. We're going to go ahead and stop the auto import. So say we needed to clear all of these times. If we do that in Race Director, that's not too difficult. We just clear it.
So in order to prevent any results being lost, the live results software will not immediately clear any deleted results from the results database. In order to clear any results that we've previously deleted from the race director, we need to go in and click this clear and re-upload all button. And it gives us a little explanation of what this is going to do, make sure we actually want to do that. So it tells us any results previously uploaded to race entry will be deleted and will be replaced with the currently selected results. Depending on the size of the categories, there may be an interval during which results will not be available as to be re-uploaded. That just means if you have thousands of results that you're uploading, it'll take a few seconds for that that change to be reflected on Race Entry's website. So click the yes button and then it will clear any results and thus make sure any results are deleted that we want.
And then we're going to watch what happens as some results start to come in. All right, I opened up the results for this race, and as we can see, as the results are coming in, it's updating on this page. So we can see for the 5K and for the 1 mile, each of the events that we specified in there. So again, just to conclude, lots of questions that you may have are likely answered in this help document. If they're not, of course, please reach out to the race entry team. They'll be happy to help. But hopefully this video has helped you understand a little bit how this program works and how you can use it to upload live results onto race entry.